नमस्कार। नमस्कार। कहिए क्या सुनेंगे आप? अरे पहले ये कहिए कहाँ थी आप? मैं कर रही थी किसी का इंतजार. I forgot the recipe. Fun fact: this is actually how I learned to count from 1 to 10 in Hindi. So shout out to Alkagnik and whoever came up with that lyrics. I guess the people that came up with the language for teaching me how to count from 1 to 10. Hi, welcome. I am Raf and welcome to my channel. You're here to talk about Heeramandi, right? Or are you here for the thumbnail? Because I feel like I look incredibly nice today. I have looked like, well, my hair is type 4 or something. It's kinky anyways. It's very kinky and it's like very full. And it's also winter here. It's summer. We call it summer, but it's winter. So, it's hard to like keep my hair like this for a long time. So I don't do this. And also my hair gets damaged whenever I do this to it. Not because I do this to it, but I do this to it and I feel like I don't have to do anything else to it because I don't have to try very hard not to look like an insane person when my hair is like this. So I wrap it up and then I put it in a bun and then I lose half of my hair. So I stopped getting my hair like dried with heat. I'm here to talk about Heeramandi, I swear.
So it is the next day, well, the third day. I got distracted. I didn't get distracted. I saw that the presentation was getting to my hair and I decided that I should probably finish filming the dance videos that I was working really hard on before my hair decides to revert to its truest and original form. I tried hitless curls to like salvage it and I think it's pretty fine. I mean, I brushed it at least, so I don't think I'm gonna lose my hair this time. But here we are. And also, I got that flu. So the voice. Well, that's what's happening. Did I touch the mic? Anyway, that's what's happening to the voice and also the mic. The mic is not the best, but they're doing construction upstairs, and I think it's better that I use the mic. I don't even know if I'm gonna use this video. I'm just gonna like shoot this video in its entirety, and if it's usable, I will use it, or if not, I'll just film it another time. I'm trying to use the setting. I'm at my cousin's house, and her house is pretty nice, so I'm just trying to use the setting while I'm here. Anyways, let's just get straight to the Heeramandi conversation. Yes. I know I'm late to the whole Heeramandi conversation, but I'm actually very glad about that because I had very strong opinions initially about the music that I had completely changed my mind on right now, which is pretty nice because the music is basically the most fundamental aspect of the show. At my first listen, I thought the music, the whole soundtrack was unremarkable and even formulaic, like very, very formulaic. I just thought they were copying Begum Akhtar's style, beat by beat. Yes, I have missed the mark on that opinion, and I'm glad that like life kept happening to me, so I get distracted from making this video, so I can at least like appreciate the music now. But I kind of know why I thought that initially, because the way the music was being presented to us was very jarring. It just kept coming at you out of nowhere. Because this is a show about tawaips, right? So the music is very important. The way they come up with the music, the way they prepare for the performance is very important. But no, it just was treated as any other Bollywood media, and they just kept coming at you out of nowhere. And then they were just like, I don't know, it just felt very, very like, except, of course, Takalibana and Masumdil Hemera. How awesome has it been to find that Richa was a trained Kathak dancer and an amazing one at that. The reason I changed my mind on the music is not actually like out of my own volition. I was like, I hate this show. I hate the soundtrack. Boring and stuff. And then I was gonna move on. But I kept seeing music covers and dance covers on YouTube Shorts, and they completely changed my mind about the soundtrack. They made me pay attention to the arrangement, the whole like rhythm and like the overall vibe of the album is actually pretty awesome. And I'm very glad that this happened because usually the opposite happens. I like a song, then I hear it over like 100 million times over a span of 3 days. And then the mere mention of that song makes me feel nauseated. So, yay. The only trend I was sick of was when people were pretending that they have never seen love handles on Bollywood starlets, as if Madhwala, Meena Kumari, Madhuri, Sridevi, and even Sonakshi did not exist, and they were thriving with similar body types, even like fuller body types. And I'm not hating on Aditi, okay? I love her, and I'm glad that just her mere existence kind of helped women feel seen and represented and feel beautiful. That is awesome. I know that Bollywood has not been the best at pushing forward a healthy body image. But fat phobia has been the main punchline of countless movies of Bollywood. But I'm just saying, this is not groundbreaking. And also, an argument can be made that this is actually more closer to the status quo, if anything. Please don't come for me. I don't want this video to be the one that blows up, and then like the first like big reaction I get was just like like don't come for me. I like Aditi. I like body positivity and whatnot. I'm just saying, let's not get surprised by like the littlest, crumbs. Has also been interesting, to say the least, to see the whole internet's reaction to Charmin's portrayal of Alanzev. And although I'm not here to defend her acting skills and whatnot, I think she's taking way more than her share of blame for why the character Alanzev did not work. As ambitious as the world building and storytelling of Heeramandi was, its characters are incredibly underwritten, and this is true for me, at least for almost every character in the show, except Lejo, of course. Even Bibojan, as well as she portrayed that woman, I kind of did not like that character. I mean, I like the character, I just did not understand that. I mean, like, we'll go back to that later on, why I think that, okay? Let's start from Malika Jan. Malika Jan. As much as I love Manisha Koraila, am I saying her name right? I don't know. I couldn't find any place that were pronouncing her name like clearly. So I'm just gonna call her Manisha, and then just like let's move on. Okay. So as much as love her, I hated Malika Jan. I hated her, and not in a fun way, which you hate like an antagonist characteristic, but in a way that makes you want to pull your hair out because you do not understand what she's supposed to be doing. Because, like, what was her character description? Was it just like a sexy evil woman? Because what she does just does not make sense. For example, what the hell was that storyline with Iqbal and Pato? That's their name, right? So what the hell was that storyline? Does she just not like seeing people happy? And that's okay, by the way. I like characters life has, shaped and hardened into a villain. Like, I like seeing people like that, but I just didn't see anything that is supposed to portray that, that she was just like, there is Farida Jan, whom I have basically the same problem with as Malika Jan, although to a slightly lesser extent. She spends the first 5 episodes hell-bent on destroying Malika Jan because she did some unspeakable things to her. But then Farida Jan accidentally facilitates Malika Jan's violation by the British. And her first reaction to hearing that information was her giving a speech about women's izzat. And I'm not here to be like Malika Jan deserved what happened to her, okay? I just don't understand the very jarring 180 that Farida Jan took, as if Malika Jan didn't. Her mother sold her off when she was 9 years old. Farida Jan was somebody that was completely traumatized by Malika Jan. So even though I get going way too far and realizing where you're at way too late, I don't think her first reaction to hearing that would have been that speech. I don't think Malika Jan deserved what happened to her, okay? Do not get me wrong. But I wouldn't be surprised, and it would have been more realistic if Farida Jan thought she deserved it, you know?
Especially since she had no problem with selling out her own countrymen just so she can have her revenge. Like literally in the previous episode.
That kind of pissed me off. I really didn't like that. And it was very hard to get mad at her getting mad at that happening to Malika Jan because, you know, the thing that happened to Malika Jan was very, very wrong. So but I didn't like the way that was portrayed. It didn't feel right. Then there are the Angravis, who's just Cartwright for the most part, and also I love Cartwright. I think that dude did a very good job in portraying, you know, Cartwright. I thought his Hindi was pretty good, even though I'm not the one to judge. I keep touching the mic. I think he did a pretty good job, and he's very pretty. I like that, you know, he looked the way that he looked like. So, you know, that is a pretty awesome thing that, you know, that he was good at the Hindi, the acting and stuff, because usually the white people that show up in Hindi movie, they make me feel very uncomfortable. It just like I get the same feeling as I'm pretty sure this is a very unpopular opinion, but I'm an Ethiopian, so you know, there are some traditional places that we go to that also you know, tourists also visit, and when I see them try to attempt the you know, the traditional dance, especially the esksta, it makes me incredibly uncomfortable, and it just makes me feel because it's just they keep missing the beat, you know. Anyways, when I see non white people in Hindi films, Amharic films, and Korean films, I get that same feeling, and I'm very glad that I didn't feel that uncomfortable. It's not only Cartwright actually; it's also the other dudes, you know, the main, you know, the one on top. He also did a pretty good job, not as well as Cartwright, but I think they did they did decent, they did decent. They are decent actors. That's what I'm trying to say. What I was saying, anyways, is the Angravis, you know. So as much as I loved Cartwright, you know, as much as, you know, he did good with what he was given, they also don't make sense because one, it's just Cartwright for the most part, and second of all, the evil that you find them doing, it's usually a reaction to the freedom fighters, and there is no harm that they do on their own. We as the people of the earth, you know, we know what the British did. We know that the effects, the lasting effects colonization had on the world. But still, we need to see, this is, don't act like this is, common knowledge. Show us what the freedom is that has been lost in Heeramandi, that the people are fighting, they're, risking their life to gain it back, you know? In the end, they start, you know, increasing their antics, but, for the most part, they were just, you know, they felt very harmless. And there's this part where Bimojan is romancing a British officer to get some intel from him, and it took every will I had in me to not ship them because I just thought he was some other dude. And also, I have been brainwashed by rom-coms throughout my entire life, so you know, that also might be one of the reasons. But what I'm trying to say is the British kind of felt harmless, and they were not harmless. We know what they did. They just you know. Then there is Alam Zabe. Jesus Christ, people are creative over the internet. That one short, in which they put that unhinged filter over her scenes, will forever live in my head. You know, forever and ever. Seriously, I swear to God. I kept my mind broke at some point. I just kept repeating it and just cackling, I don't know. As much as that was funny and as much as she didn't do a good job, and I get that nepotism was part of it, and I know that her interviews were not doing her any good. They were not helping her out one bit. I still think that much of negative attention, I'm pretty sure that's overwhelming. I feel like I would go insane. So you know, I'm glad that is over anyways. I really hope that she puts an Ananya Pandey and delivers either in social media or like in her films, so she can like be redeemed. I really hope so, because right now that was just like that was brutal. And by the way, I kind of have the same. I was frustrated as the rest of like the people that watched the show with her acting. It was just very like, huh? She just felt like she was existing. Because she was supposed to be this Pakiza type of character. She even said
I'm rewatching Pakiza right now because I'm looking for scenes I could use for this video. And oh my god, Pakiza is actually a very heavy influence on the show. I don't know why I'm surprised by this. I mean, duh. But although I thought there would be an inspiration and maybe even a shout out to previous works, it was still interesting to see the scenes taken from Pakiza. For example, like Alamzeb fishing out a pearl from the water, the Nigeria Kemari song, the confrontation scene at La Just Last Mudra. I mean, I have no problem with this, but this kind of explains my initial feeling about the show and music. I'm not trying to say anything by this. I just thought this was interesting and I wanted to put this somewhere in the video because I really, really don't want to reshoot this video.
she was supposed to be this Pakiza type of character. She even said so. She studied it, and her acting is supposed to be subtle, but I think the subtlety went too far and just became non-existent. So like I didn't like the portrayal. Yes, yes, but I'm just saying the way that she was written was pretty bad, because she was supposed to be this person that is rebelling against her fate that everybody keeps telling her to accept. That is such an interesting story, and she wants to be a poet, and at a time where India was fighting for independence. Imagine how many things could have been written throughout this story. But the only time her being a poet and her ambition gets mentioned is either when she's fighting with her mom or when she's romancing Tajdar. Like, what the hell? Like, imagine if the way she gets involved in the fight for freedom was through her writing. Imagine how awesome that would have been. But no, she meets Tajdar and she just keeps begging him to look after her once. I love that song, by the way. I'm not like hating on that song. I just like it was just like very like the romance was nice, and the romance was nice, by the way. She just didn't feel like Alamzi didn't feel like an active participant in her own life after she met Tajdar. And you know how she gets involved in the freedom fighting storyline? Tajdar had this genius idea, who he is already involved in the freedom struggle. So he had this genius idea to invite the Angrezis to his house to distract him from the mission. And he decides to leave a very incriminating evidence out there on the desk of his office, which was unlocked. Like, I would have hated him if he wasn't so pretty. But he looks like he was straight out of the whole World War romance novel. She's very, very pretty. When I'm saying all this, I'm not saying that this show should not have been made. This trash. There was the Lejo storyline, which I felt was very impactful and very beautiful. Jesus Christ, that woman knows how to make a splash. And that whole I get why it took 92 days to shoot that sequence. That was a beautiful, beautiful performance and very that was pretty awesome. And also the song Azadi, the way even the first time and the last time it was played, I think that was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I cried. I really cried. I cried twice because of that song. So, I get, I'm glad this show was made, is what I'm saying. It's still like a Sanjay Leela Bansali work after all. You're gonna get grandness, beauty, beautiful songs. Jesus Christ, how glad I am. I have I have fallen in love with the soundtrack. I'm glad it was made. I'm just saying I wish it did more. I wish it relied more on the story rather than attitude and stuff. I wish it just relied more on the story, which I think is the problem with a lot of a Sanjay Bansali film. I mean, don't come for me, but I felt the same way about Pet Mavit. I was like, okay, I get it, but like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, I get it, I get what happened, but like, what happened? You know, what is the thing that you're trying to tell us? And I think a lot could have been said, like in this show, but I feel like too much has been said and nothing at all. And you know, but still, it has been a while since I cared enough about the show to talk about it. You know, months after it came out, and even the excitement that I felt when I heard it was coming out is also pretty worth it. Even if it didn't like meet my expectations, I'm glad that I'm glad that I I found that I can still be excited by a movie. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna stop talking because I'm getting like I'm kind of starting to black out. uh, Thank you for watching. If you have watched it until now, thank you very much. You are a star. Star. Uh, just like this, I think. So thank you. Bye.